Remix. 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 Remix.
Oh, yeah. Once again, it's on, y'all. This is Black Power Media. This is the Remix Morning Show. And we got a banging one here for you today, as usual. Or say, per usual, as we do it. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Let me introduce you to the host with the most. First, let's bring in Dr. Jerry Ball. And burn it down, Kim Brown.
Get it.
I love it.
Yes.
What's up, good people?
Historical day today, y'all.
Is it?
History making.
Is it?
It's February 29th, you guys. We're never going to do a February 29th show at least for another 4 years.
Wow,
Oh, that's
true.
right.
It's leap
Yeah.
day.
Leap
Yeah,
day.
wow. Right on.
So let me get this straight. If you're born on the 30th, do they have 30th of this month?
No, beloved, they do not.
Wait a minute. So one of these days,
Talk through it.
yeah, one of these days don't appear again, like on the calendar, right? Like
Yes.
today doesn't appear on the calendar.
Correct. Yes.
So what about when you born on the 29th?
It's a rough go. It's a rough
You
go.
only-
This is the stupidest place in the world, and we are here, y'all. Welcome. Oh my God, who does that? How do you? Never mind.
I think people born on February 29th be like 32 years old celebrating their 16th birthday or something crazy like that, right? Like,
Pretty much.
yes.
Y'all say I'm crazy.
Two
y'all
things
doing?
can both be true.
Oh,
Hey.
nice. Toom.
Bow, bow.
Listen, neither one of us are doing as good as these folks, right?
Oh,
Into the questions. I'm hearing some things, and I don't know if people know, so I figured I might as well ask y'all, which is a crazy statement to even ask, but I'm going to ask y'all. I'm hearing that y'all are about to get Rockefeller from Dame Dash. Is that true? Straight to it. Is that true? It's actually Ask Cam and Mace today.
sound like the penguin.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just say, killer.
Killing them with the
I
suits,
did for $20. Times who knows how much. Let's just say hypothetically, right?
Yeah, hypothetically. So they just go on like that for basically a while. And it's just a whole bunch of allegedly, maybe, we might, and then who would you sell reasonable doubt to if you did own it? And they were talking about they never mentioned Jay's name, but they talked about at one point they said we'll sell it to Drake.
Dame
was a
is
lot-
the king of petty, boy. I tell you.
Honestly, I'm so ignorant to how the music industry works. It's like, isn't there actual money involved? But maybe it is.
I think
not.
so. So what I remember when I used to pay attention to this particular scenario, that when they broke apart, Jay-Z, Dame, and Biggs all kept their original third of Rockefeller, and in terms of ownership, and I think, but Dame was allowed to take control of the brand or something like that, and Jay had the music, something like that. But apparently, Reasonable Doubt fell under this, and their third, as they go on talking about it on the show, it sounds like their third encompasses Reasonable Doubt or something akin to that, giving them control over it. And given the history of the Harlem Crew, which they are staying with Dame when they broke apart, when he broke up with Jay, they have all this and then when I went back and looked it up, because I didn't remember all this and didn't pay attention that much at the time, Cam had a real problem with Jay-Z and the way he sort of tried to take sole ownership and claim of Rockefeller and didn't want to talk about the crew and incorporate everybody. So it was like this, they had this whole, and then they had bars against each other that I apparently I just wasn't paying attention, or because I actually never listened to Cam or the Dipset much at all, aside from a track or two. Yeah. But apparently they've sold way more than I realized. Cam has apparently made way more money than I've realized. And then his relationship with Dame has, so it's all kind of, I mean, it's ultimately all kind of silly, but it was a funny, petty trolling moment where they got to flirt with the idea of taking Jay-Z's classic album and selling it to Drake or something like that. It's just sounding crazy.
that'll be hard. That's like the fact, I like the moves they making, even though with Mark Jackson, how they as soon as he got fired, they went and paid him and brought him over, and it was like, we're gonna give you a show. So they out there watching, they seeing what's going on, and they making moves. So big up to them too.
It's a guilty pleasure, I have to admit, and
it takes you back to y'all's less mature days. I see that.
Does, absolutely.
You know, when all the the playing the dozens, it was all problematic terms that cannot be used today. It's I see the fondness for
it's barbershop. Like, it takes you to the barbershop. That's what I'll say. Like, pretty much that's what it does. Talking sports, talking about this, that, and third going on. Yeah.
And I just never paid either one of them any attention, but I think they have personality, they're hilarious. I think they know a little bit, they know sports, so you actually can get some decent analysis if that's what you're there for. But it's you are right, it's complete regression for me. It's nothing. I can't.
All right, enough promoting this show. I heard about a show coming up this Friday that's going to be pretty dope that y'all might want to tune in for. And it is Black Myths, and they are going to do a critique on Black Power Media. And I am
criticism
wow.
dropping at 7:00. I cannot wait. I am beyond impatient for that.
Speaking of impatient,
they're doing the
come out, Kid Franklin.
Doing the SWAT on BPM. I dig it.
Yeah. I said nothing bad about you, Kamal.
Oh, I had the sound and I couldn't hear it. I'm still getting the technical stuff together, so I appreciate that for now.
Oh no.
Mike sounds good though. Mike sounds nice. Check
it. You got some light in the background on the books. I mean, we're getting there. We're getting there.
It took a few years.
Yeah, only a couple.
Trying to pop my trade.
Great thermos to match the beard. I see you.
Hey,
I see you. The hairline, how it meshes. Nice.
Leave that man alone.
That wasn't the
Salt and Pepper's here, and we're in effect.
That's right. Is Mike sound nice? Salt and Pepper. It's all coming together.
It's all coming together. Right.
So we was just talking.
If just one of them would be dead for Kamal to get one of his inappropriate Brooklyn jokes, it would be perfect. If the only problem is everybody's still alive, ruining Kamal's.
Good times. Good times.
So, Kamal, you tuning in to Black Myths this Friday? They're gonna be doing a critique on Black Power Media.
I can't wait. Wherever I am, I'm gonna be
tuning in.
I want to. Can I be on so I can get my own critiques?
See, you got
maybe I can have critiques of Black. I was gonna call them Black Thought, or Too Black.
Oh, you know
what? Oh, he made that man get up out of his seat. Let me find out. He said, "I want to go get my critique."
Too Black. You talk too slow. You're a slow talker.
God.
What?
Oh God!
It's a long time for you to do those interviews.
Wow.
Oh my goodness!
He coming at him. What? Oh,
preemptive.
He hasn't made me breakfast though. That's the problem. He has not made me breakfast.
Your critique is going to be not glowing, Kamal? Like you already you letting shots off and the joint ain't even ran yet.
You know what I'm saying?
Easy out here.
Brooklyn.
No, but I was saying that he hasn't made me breakfast yet. That's the problem. He needs to make me breakfast, and all is forgiven.
Damn, what?
Oh, shit.
You don't get it?
No, we don't.
The ear doctor.
No, we don't get it. Go ahead, Jared. Go ahead, Jared. What were you about to say, Jared? You got
No,
about your
actually,
sheep
I
or
don't get
something?
it. Yeah, I did. So he said so Kamal said he wanted to say Black Thought. And so I was up your way yesterday, ear doctor.
Really?
And
Jersey?
shout out to Renee and her crew. I got to visit her school and talk with her students.
Oh, wow.
And then got to do a small book talk later that evening. And in between, I got to hang out in Newark with my man, Dr. Todd Stephen Burrows.
Nice.
And we actually rewatched American Fiction. I keep saying Skin. American Fiction. And had some fun critiquing that and arguing about that a little bit. So shout out to Dr. Todd Stephen Burrows. Shout out to Renee. And at Renee's school, they're using
Let's get it.
Tariq's new book.
Oh, wow.
So Black Thought's memoir, I got a copy of Black Thought's memoir, which I didn't even know was out. And I'm looking forward to checking it out to see what he's had to say.
Looks
good.
Beautiful.
And they got me a little plaque.
Oh,
For presenting.
you got a
You know what I'm
plaque?
saying? I got a plaque. You know what
Renee.
I'm saying?
Renee.
You know what I'm saying?
Classy out
You know
here.
what I'm saying? You
I knew
know?
Renee first. I didn't get no plaque.
Well, you know
Oh.
that.
You
So
just
that
go to
was the
trophy stores
problem.
and just make plaques for people, huh? All right, go ahead.
I forgot that you're the reason she's on the platform originally. I was pissed to be reminded of that when she reminded me of the actual origin story, and it had to start with Kamau. I was like, God damn it!
Of course, I don't even remember, but yeah, I think I did meet her.
You did, and you had brought her to the remix, and then it built from there. And I'm not finished because also last night, BPM Massive was in the building. iManifesto showed up. Got to meet iManifesto in person. Shout out to him. That was very dope. Thank you for coming through.
This is a high
And-
school or college?
High school.
Dang, they must be radicalizing them kids. Y'all radicalizing
Now,
them kids?
and check this out. One of the students who was part of the student groups that I spoke with in the morning, she was so intrigued and challenged by the argument. She brought her pops and said, "Pops, you got to come to this book talk." And it was a friendly disagreement. They were very much in wanting to defend some of the standard cliches around business and working hard gets you the reward and all this kind of but it was great. And it's always nice to see students show up without having to be there, without extra credit or a grade, and sort of on their own wanting to extend these conversations. That's kind of like the highest honor. So the fact that even one, I can't even imagine being in high school and having somebody come talk to me in the morning and be like, hey, I got to go see him again later. I want to go see another. I want to go on my own, spend more time having a conversation, about this. So that was, the whole thing was dope. Yeah. So I got to run around Newark, got to meet the extended Johnston family,
Hey.
her cool ass husband, and hang out and break bread a little bit. And it was dope. It was a good time.
How was the food
So
that she can cook?
she didn't cook. We did go out to and got some falafel. Got some one of them falafel spots out there in what part of Jersey is that? I can't even remember. But over there.
Speaking of Jersey, Ricky going through Jersey. Her and CBS will be at Princeton tomorrow. You
Oh,
didn't check
wow.
in. You didn't check in, Ricky. So I'll allow it though. You can use my face card.
The Princeton, gotta check it at Princeton.
Gotta check
The
in
Jersey.
all
Wait a
parts
minute.
of Jersey.
All of
Anyway,
Jersey.
All of
You
Jersey.
went All Jersey, son. All
Gate.
Jersey.
Newark
gatekeeper.
to Atlantic City, check in. Hoboken down to Camden, check in.
That's right.
Well, I hope tell Eddie Glaw we said what's up.
Word. All right, I guess it's time to go ahead and get to a break. The first comment of the day was like, "I've come here to learn." So, y'all ready to teach?
Always.
Okay, I guess. All right.
I responded. I said always. I was fast.
I'm
Okay.
not a teacher.
Not the other
I
two,
too am a student. I too am a student.
Oh, you
We're all
be teaching
students
that.
out here.
Somebody else said Kim had a fire show yesterday, so you doing something out here, Kim? I'm just saying.
You lying? Ain't nobody say that.
You just want me to pull the comment up. Just say I want to see the comment.
I want to see the
I want to see
comment.
the comment.
There we go.
Kim
Read it out.
show was fired.
Credit the person. Who is
Cynthia
this?
Rose.
Cynthia
Cynthia Rose
Rose.
says Kim's show was fired the other day.
Was
Baby,
4 fires and
baby.
3 fires. Was 7 fires total.
You hot out here. You a hot mess out
That
here.
Milan.
All right,
Y'all know
let's
what
go
it
ahead
is.
and get to the break right here on the Remix Morning Show.
Oh.
You got to feel it. All right, big up. Yeah. Big up, everybody. Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Make sure you hit that like button. We got 276 people watching live right now, so we need to have that many likes. Also, if you're new to the channel, go and subscribe. Subscribe button is right there. And also, tell somebody about this, man. Stop playing. This is like a big party. You go and be like, yo, that party was dope. This is the party. This is a morning time party right here, the Remix Morning Show. So tell somebody about it. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there. We just dropped some new footage that you would not see over here. So that's what we're doing. All right, boom. So let's start it off with a quick artist spotlight right here, right now. Who we going to talk about? Let's talk about Marcia Griffith. Yeah. All right, now, in case you didn't know, she's a singer. Actually, she's known for her mousy, smooth type song and singing and stuff like that. She's doing it. West Kingston, Jamaica is where she comes from. She started in 1964 with Byron Lee and the Dragoneers. That's how they be saying it on the radio. And yeah, she started doing that, started singing a little bit, and then she got discovered and then got a record contract. And she did a couple songs early in her career to start off with some duets with like Tony Gregory, Bob Marley, and Bob Andy, who she wound up having a relationship for like 7 years. And her first solo artist song was Feel Like Jumping and Truly and Melody Life. But she worked with Bob for a while. They even put out an album together. And then between 1974 to 81, she was a member of I Trees. Now, you know, that's the group with Rita Marley, her, and don't hit me lying about the other one. But yeah, she was down with them. So you remember she was down with the I Trees. And then later on in 1983, she released a song with Bunny Wailer called Electric Boogie. This came out in 1983, yo. Well, actually, it re-came out in 83 and remixed, and then it came out as the Electric Slide, the line dance, as you can hear. Yo, this dance took over. It hit the Billboard. It was on the top, making her one of the highest selling female reggae singers of all time with this one right here. So she's been on the scene. She's still on the scene, age 74. She got about 12 albums, so go check them out. Also, she got awarded the highest national honor in Jamaica for her contribution. So that's what it is. Go check that out because you can feel it. It's electric. All right, let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning Crew. You know how we do. Yeah.
I did not ever know that. I didn't know that was her.
Right? Well, a lot of people, it's like, what?
Ear Doctor, I'm pretty sure you've done Marcia Griffiths before, but
I
it's
did
okay.
I did Rita Marley. I don't remember doing Marcia. What?
I feel like we've heard this.
Let's
electric
ask
slide
Ricky
before.
Ryan. She always points at probably somebody else.
Ricky is observant. He's observant.
Like I do this show completely for you, Ricky. Nobody else. No new people. Nothing. Just
She said he
Ear
hasn't.
Doctor.
She said he hasn't.
what? Look at
It
that.
has it all. You need somebody to keep you on your toes, the way you keep
I
other people on
do.
their toes.
Appreciate you, Ricky.
It doesn't sound like appreciation.
It does. I really appreciate it. Yeah, because Anyway, so I'll let y'all go ahead and get to your news and all that, and I'll catch you on the next break.
I will say in that theme though, shout out to one of my favorite. She outside of my immediate household, she might actually be my favorite person in the world. Is going to be joining me this week with her expertise in Jamaica and Rasta and Marley history. My girl Suzette.
Your favorite person in the world?
She is my favorite person in the world outside of the immediate household, and that's no bull. That's legit. That's
where do I fit on this list? Where do I fit on favorite?
Why do you care? Why is this important to you?
Kamau just wants to be on every. He's like Jay-Z said, I should be on everybody's top to every list. Every list.
I was you. I never heard this person like on the favorite person outside the house.
Because all the realness happens off camera.
How long have I known you?
I mean,
how long have y'all known each other? How did y'all even get
30 years?
Cross light skin paths?
In terms of actually knowing who each other are, well, I knew who Kamau was before he knew who I was. And I remember, to be honest, I remember when MXGM had a national meeting in DC years ago, and I went to that, and I saw Kamau and Kali Akuno speak. And what I remember was you two were the closest to my age. That's what I seem to remember from the speakers. And I was like peer group. I was like, okay, now I think I can rock with this here. So I don't know. That would have been early 2000s, I think.
I can see that. I can see.
Yeah, I don't think we knew each other and met in person until shortly after that. But yeah. I actually remember that and was like, I think this will work right here. I think it's like I think I can work with this right here.
Cynthia said, "Camus got issues. Your insecurities are showing, bro. I got a lot of them. I got a lot of issues and insecurities. A lot of them.
Yeah,
I am jealous. That's why I mentioned it. Yeah. He said his favorite.
She really is, though. I mean, we go way back, like to my earliest, what I would consider any akin to real activism, and like all good friendships, we had a major blow up at the beginning.
Oh wow!
When we were trying to put this organization together. And I remember what it was. We were trying to parse out duties, and she was like, "I'm not doing that." And I was like, "What?" I remember my point was, none of us should be able to say we're not doing anything. All of the tasks should be open to everybody. But she was like, "I'm not doing that one."
She set a boundary. It's very important.
Yeah. And I was like, no. And then I was like,
I don't care about your boundary.
I sure did.
I do not care about your boundary.
Absolutely. ain't no boundaries in struggle.
Hey.
But no, but I immediately, even as we were arguing, I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, this is going to work. This is going to work right here. No, seriously, because it never got out of hand in terms of disrespect, and it was about our core, struggles with struggle, and wanting to be in struggle. So it was all, and I like that energy. I mean, she was like, "What?" Like, and I always, damn.
Oh,
damn!
Oh, my bad. I didn't mean that.
Go ahead then.
Damn.
Slap it then.
Slap it.
Well, boss man cracked the whip, so we might as well get to work, everybody. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show, a historical Remix Morning Show as we join you on this Thursday, February 29th, 2024. My name is
Wrap
Kim
it up,
Brown.
B.
We
Oh,
got
sorry.
Dr.
Yeah.
J over there, Kamal Franklin over there, Ear Doctor back there. Yeah, wrap it up, B. Like
Wrap
all
it
the,
up,
you know,
B.
like that's cool. I feel like Ear Doctor Hurricane Gigi, like, yo, Redman, just that get off that smooth shit, kick that hard shit,
Bring that news.
bring that news.
I like that, and I just hope Black Myths Friday's edition has a long segment on the Ear Doctor. I can't wait for the part of the critique focused
Look
on the
at
Ear Doctor.
y'all. Y'all projecting. First of all, there's a lot of projection coming from the on-screen host.
Oh,
this morning
absolutely.
in anticipation of what
Guilty.
might be said come Friday on Black Myth
guilty.
Podcast.
Yes, I'm projected all over the place, and I can't wait. Rip the Band-Aid off.
Pause.
Oh wow! All right.
Mason Betha and Cameron Giles, can y'all please collect yourselves? Can y'all
All
collect
right.
yourselves?
Well, I'm
I
interested
did
too.
see.
I mean, we've had conversations and stuff like that about critiques and everything like that. So,
Mhm.
and he has good ones, to be honest. Like, he has sort of valid things. It's like, oh, that might be a good idea to implement or think through. So, yeah, I look forward to it.
It got to be thorough. I expect this to be. I'm not even playing. I cannot wait.
Don't be nervous.
Indeed.
Don't be nervous.
Oh, I'm not nervous at all.
I can't
please. Really? I'm
just
giving nervous?
No,
No, this is
y'all
eager
do-
anticipation. This is like, let's go.
tinged with a little bit of anxiety. Like it's I can tell you guys are eagerly anticipating this. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. All right.
All right, who got
So-
a news story? Yeah.
I saw one. So Erica really again has laced us. And I saw one that I would like us to jump out with if you don't mind. And this
By
one
all
here
means.
seems wildly crazy disturbing. Ghana passes bill making identifying as LGBTQ plus illegal. Of all the things to make illegal, apparently this has been a focus. Ghana's parliament has passed a tough new bill that imposes a prison sentence of up to
What?
3 years for anyone convicted of identifying as LGBTQ plus. It also imposes a maximum 5-year jail term for forming or funding LGBTQ plus groups. Lawmakers heckled down attempts to replace prison sentences with community service and counseling. And it is the latest sign of growing opposition to LGBTQ rights, plus rights in the conservative West African nation. The bill, which had, and this is the BBC saying they're conservative. The bill, which had the backing of Ghana's 2 major political parties, will come into effect only if President Nana Akufo-Addo signs it into law. He previously said he would do it if the majority of Ghanaians want him to. Gay sex is already against the law in Ghana. It carries a 3-year prison sentence. Last month, Amnesty International warned that the bill poses significant threats to fundamental rights and freedoms of LGBTQ plus people. Activists fear there will now be witch hunts against members of the LGBTQ plus community and those who campaign for their rights, and say they will have to go into hiding. This was echoed by the head of the UN body tackling AIDS, Winnie Binyanyima, who said if human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill becomes a law, it will exacerbate fear and hatred, could incite violence against fellow Ghanaian citizens, and will negatively impact on free speech, freedom of movement, and freedom of association, end quote.
All true.
So
That's disturbing. I would be curious to know the history of LGBTQ identity in that region. It would seem to me that this, I don't know how recent of a phenomenon making into law homophobic, ideals is. Was there ever a point in Ghana when gay people were accepted or free to identify openly as they are? Or is this a new thing, newish?
before there was a Ghana, if I'm reading gender epistemologies correctly, for instance, shout out to AAPRP study group. all of these labels and definitions would have to be reworked. So in short, all kinds of things were happening in that would be my only answer. I don't know the specifics under what is now known as Ghana, but it just is a reminder for me that these are not authentically African entities, despite being on the continent. These are all colonial constructs, and I think carry these vestiges with them. And I note again, as we even just talked about in our study group, I do make the parallel between these kinds of outcomes and the prevalence of Western religion, Christianity in particular, white Jesus specifically, all over the place. So lead Clinton, you can tell me that it's false if you like in the chat. I hear you. That's fine. But you could, I gave you at least one source that I'm working with that helps me reach that conclusion. And if you read gendered epistemologies or something akin to that and contradicts it, and I won't just stick to Palestine. And you about to get stuck off the chat. You keep talking like that. You about to get stuck out the chat. You about to be stuck outside the chat if you keep talking like that. But no, I will not just shut up and dribble my Palestinian basketball, so to speak. Go ahead, Kamal. My bad.
No, I was going to say, I think one of the things that has to be confronted by Ghanaians, Africans, Middle Easterns, whoever, is, I think, a history that, again, I'm not going to give specifics, that does tilt conservative on gender and women's rights, right? And so I don't know if I think it's all colonial in the sense that it's all brought over by Western imprints. And I know there's different stories, of course, of where there was openness in terms of gender relations and so forth. But I think also there's a lot of stories in history, female sort of mutilation surgery and sort of traditional practices, which I think is a struggle for African nations, African cultures and groups. And so, I think one of the things that happens is that because people have been sort of weighed down also by Western colonialism, also by conservative Christianity, also by conservative Islam, that these struggles have not been able to sort of take place. And instead, these other layers of elites and outside cultures have also come in and made these things. I don't know how many stories I've heard. It made these things kind of like hard to fight against, particularly because of my marriage to an Ethiopian and knowing other Ethiopians. So many stories that Ethiopians who are queer tell me about how dangerous it is in Ethiopia to be queer, right? So, and they position it not just because of Western colonialism, although again, I think that adds to it, but I think there's also the addition of some aspects of African culture which have been particularly linear on ideas around gender, which again have not been the challenges have to happen within, I think, obviously, and I think that's part of what people have to deal with, whatever. So,
and it's terrifying to think about what the everyday lived experience of gay Ghanaians is, and what it will be now after. I'm sure the law is reflecting some sort of pervasive social attitudes towards gay folks. And to know that now the law is behind officially, not to say that it wasn't beforehand, but per this new thing, violence, I'm sure, will be sanctioned against overt gay people in Ghana, even before the state can even probably catch up, right? So forget the fear of imprisonment. What about the fear of death? What about the fear of great bodily harm? And then to think about the young people who experience, as we see here in the US, when young gay folks are not allowed to express themselves, that turns inward. The instances of self-harm go up, and other negative sort of behaviors and feelings. So what is the point of hurting people? I get it, because humans are humans, but for the state to sanction and target out a specific group in this way, and then for people who are gay and maybe want to travel to Ghana, how does that work? I know gay folks have to take very deliberate steps and research to find out where it's safe for them to travel in the world. But now you can take Ghana off that list. Everybody don't go over there and play games with your flag, etc. Because they not playing, apparently.
I'm going to do a Jared right now too and be like, for the chat, just because you say one thing about what's happening in African cultures that is negative or that you think needs to change, the reaction should not be, let's just call out all the things that happens in America. Yes, both can be true at the same time. I hope no one is suggesting that African culture, just because it is our cultures, right, are perfect and don't need struggle from within to improve, change, and radicalize some of those cultures. Like, we can't just appear to be accepting tradition because it's tradition. Even within tradition, there's usually seeds that can be very conservative, very misogynist, very sexist, even if it's for our culture, right? So we have to learn how to have mature critique of other things other than Western imperialism, with the understanding that people, and support people who are struggling against things that may have some Western colonialism may have some impact, but it may not be the only impact. People have agency, people are actors, people have cultures. So some of those things also have to be allowed to be discussed. And again, for folks in Ghana with support to struggle on changing laws and changing things, right? So I think that's part of a larger struggle also.
So, I mean, aside from the problem of having Bill and Hillary's cousin in the chat with apparently similar politics, it's wild to me. The more I pay attention to this, the more people who want to defend these beliefs seem to or this behavior seem to be wildly unstudied in the very people and histories that they claim to want to represent. So that's, but my thing is, whatever our issues may be, the solution of incarcerating and making illegal should be reserved for something else. So, for instance, like my man Todd brought up at the discussion last night, where are the laws, for instance, making it illegal, let's say in Ghana, to make more than 2 or 3 times the people that work for you? Is it illegal to have neo-colonial corporate relationships that extract the resources out of the country and spread the wealth it produces to the West and to the? I mean, is it illegal to I don't know how many of the billionaires in Ghana, is it illegal for that? Like, is it illegal to sign some deal with whatever, with McKinsey? I mean, so like that's like who you. It seems like it's a lot of punching down, as people say, in these struggles, and it's like my man used to say, wear your pelts. Mm-hmm. Like what pelts do you have hanging on the wall? It seems like a lot of people that look like you and supposed to be in your community, as opposed to people who are doing the things to your community that we seem incapable of being tough with.
That's right. Yeah.
And then it's like I just can't. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm disturbed to read a story like that where Africans go put other Africans in jail for this, and
that part is very colonial, right? Because the idea of a hostile penal system, a system that decides to, I mean, that the historical relevancy is here in the United States, around in other Western countries. So that part does, to me, have a direct colonial line in terms of the idea now is to build. Or put people in prison, in jail, over their activities that have nothing to do with the government. And then the whole discourse of changing the discussion probably from resource generation to a so-called cultural issue, right? Which if it is a conservative country with a lot of conservative Christians, all of a sudden, this is what rings people's bell. And they're like, oh yeah, we got to deal with that. As opposed to, why am I making 45 cents over the last 40 days, or I can't feed my family, or all that kind of stuff, but you happy somebody's putting queer people in jail. So it doesn't make, so in that respect, it doesn't make any sense, except that it's used as a tool to continue to be able to keep resources and distract people, like you're saying, from who their real enemies are.
Yeah, it's the culture war.
Mhm.
Ghanaian style, right? I mean, we see this happens all this happening right now in this stupid country, right? Like everything pertaining to trans rights, pertaining to critical race theory, pertaining to banning of books. These are all cultural issues that people without means and resources tend to gravitate towards these discussions, into these arguments with such fervent furor that they're not paying attention to their lack of wages, their lack of health care. These are not the issues that are being discussed here in this country. It's the same playbook.
Mhm.
So one more time for me in the chat. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Get out the chat.
When Bill and Hillary's cousin says that Ghana deserves their sovereignty, this is exactly my point. Of course, Ghana should have its sovereignty, but look at how it's exercising it, and does it in fact have sovereignty? That's sort of my point. Is it a sovereign nation? When I look up and read about AFRICOM, didn't I just read another statement from BAP on this? I don't remember exactly where Ghana fits into that, but again, when I go back and have they corrected all of the neo-colonial relationships that Nkrumah was talking about 50 years ago with all, with like, that's what I'm saying. Where is the sovereignty? So this is how you want to exercise sovereignty. You're not gonna you're not gonna break ties with colonial powers or reignite Nkrumah's mission for Ghana's relationship to the rest of the continent. You're not gonna are you gonna make it illegal to stand against the United States of Africa under scientific socialism? Like, exercise some sovereignty then. Instead, like, this is how you exercise sovereignty. This don't seem very sovereign to me. It seems like it, like they used to say, this is mighty whitey you, Ghana. This is mighty whitey you.
Okay, what else we got brewing in the storyline?
I chose the last one. I'll defer to either of you on this one, or if the ear doctor wants to bring the voice of God back in and tell us what to do.
Well, I got one. We don't need the voice of God. So,
are you there? It's me.
What if
Margaret.
he did sound like that? My bad. I'm sorry.
God sounded like the ear doctor.
He would like that too much, just not yet. So racism has been solved. In San Francisco.
Breaking news.
In San Francisco, only in San Francisco.
Should have led with this.
Sorry, we buried the lead.
Buried the lead. Now, damn. You've been sitting on this for 30 minutes.
They've done what no one could have done.
Apologizes.
San Francisco apologizes to Black residents for decades of racist policies. Now, I haven't seen this video. Hopefully, there's going to be.
It's going to be great.
I knew there's going to be a back.
There's a place that's making.
No, we got to get a commercial first before we get this apology, because that's all anybody really wants. Just
run my grandmother her house back. If you don't.
Resolution.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Item 17. This is a resolution.
Was it number
to
one?
Apologize on behalf of the Board of Supervisors
17.
of the City and County of San Francisco to African Americans and their descendants for systemic and structural discrimination, targeted acts of violence and atrocities, and committing to the rectification and redress of past policies and misdeeds.
This historic resolution apologizes on behalf of San Francisco to the African American community and their descendants for decades of systemic and structural discrimination, targeted acts of violence, atrocities, as well as committing to the rectification and redress of past policies and misdeeds.
Cool. Read this
We
at the
have
budget
much more
meeting.
work to do, but this apology most
really?
certainly is an important step.
And right now, some leaders will back this apology while also backing drug testing to deny public assistance benefits to the poor, ramping up arrests of people addicted to drugs, criminalizing homelessness instead of housing people, building unaffordable housing for mostly wealthy white people on public housing land, and removing oversight of police when they use force.
Just show any Black person in the
disproportionately
crowd.
against Black and brown people.
This board has already
The
said
white man preaching.
no money, no cash. The state said no money, no cash.
He did for the
So
reparations.
the question that he raises, what in the world are you willing to do? What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Preach, Papa.
Others have gotten cash,
Hmm?
though it was national government that gave cash. But the thing is the principle. And for to just say categorically and downright, no cash, and yet you don't have anything else to show, that is a sham.
Supervisor Peskin.
Aye.
Peskin, aye. Supervisor Preston.
He was like, hold my cane, Mamie.
Supervisor Arnold,
Shut
Bruno,
up.
aye. And Supervisor Safagi. Safagi, aye.
Pop
Vote
dropped a
11.
word
It was
though.
unanimous, a unanimous resolution.
But as Pop said, no cash.
No
What the
cash.
fuck? Pop said no cash.
Well, come
What's the
on.
point? It's a sham.
San Francisco just went a long way in solving the issue of racism. They offered a genuine, deeply, deeply felt apology for the years of discrimination. Now, can we move on? Can we move on?
Come out. So is such a public apology endorsed by the state? It can that be used as evidence in a lawsuit? Like they have already admitted guilt, they've admitted fault, they've admitted some form of liability. Can I take this to the courthouse and file something?
No. You can't, no. I mean, you can file anything, but they're not cutting checks that way, you know. I mean, it would have to be, even in terms of a policy that suggested certain particular ethnic groups or race would get resources, could get challenged at the stage in the Supreme Court, or would get challenged, right? So usually they have to have some way in which they're doing it that's supposed to be race neutral in a lot of ways. And that's part of what all these challenges are about. So no, unfortunately, you can't take the resolution, and remember, resolution, not ordinance, not laws, like, you know, and number 17 on the day's events of things to do, and parlay that into next week. We're going to get some restitution through a reparations payment or so forth. So yeah, like I don't know what prompted. I mean, I'm assuming I know there's been other California cities, though. There's been some other cities which have claimed to want to make reparations payments, and maybe we should have someone come and talk about like what is the now current history of cities and counties and even some states having conversations about what reparation packages can look like. But these things are not en masse leading to payments for people or whatever like that. And someone is saying apologies are admissible. I mean, they could be admissible as evidence. It's not the same thing as saying that they are going to lead to a judgment on your behalf for restitution for past wrongs, right? So there's a difference between admitting something as evidence and declaring something that gets you an actual resource, a judgment on your behalf. So that's that part. It's not happening.
Well, per usual, I'm with the white man on this. And he said, because you know, but actually I thought he made that in that clip, he made the best points. So people are going to support the apology while they support all these actual policies that make the actual lived material experience of Black people worse. But we're sorry about the past stuff. I didn't say I was sorry about what I'm about to do next.
In 50 years, my grandkids will come up who's still in this seat, and they'll do that apology, so we can start this whole cycle over and over and over and over again. So
that's right. We only
So I think
apologize for that.
in California, I thought the state actually did pass some sort of reparations, but there's all kinds of stipulations, including I think you have to be able to directly prove that you are a descendant of slavery.
And no
How many-
continentals.
How many Black people can do that very easily?
And do they have to be descendants of slavery in California or descendants of slavery from the South? We should have I really think we should have a reparations expert come on and talk about like where that struggle is, or whatever. No matter what I think about the particular idea of the struggle, I think we should have somebody come on and talk through like where they see victories, where they are still struggling for, why this method is still valid for them in terms of thinking that the very people who oppress you are going to give you resources to liberate yourself, right? And so even though I believe in reparations as a concept, I've always said, like, you know, you have to have victory first, and then you can get reparations, right? It's not usually you get reparations in any real sense before you've defeated the very people who are oppressing you.
Word. Remixers, thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe, comment. High quality discussion in the chat, please and thank you. Don't troll the host, please and thank you.
Who's putting up breaking news? Breaking news?
Not me.
Oh,
Listen,
boy.
we just got in our reparations package.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Why? But why? But why? But why? See, this is when you do a little bit too much. Some of the earlier ones, but then now you like, let's go to news, but now you're comedy relief in the news.
It has to be funny, Ear Doctor, above all else.
Why?
Did y'all run out of news? Why is it so quiet around here?
I was thinking
she was doing
started
something,
flashing black breaking news.
Breaking news.
We thought something was happening.
Right.
It was a little quiet before I did breaking news. I was like, all right.
I know
Kim
you
started doing the like and subscribe again. I was like, what are we? That's my
It's just
line.
a reminder. These are little segues in betwixt our segments. And I do my thing out here, Ear Doctor. Goddamn, I'll be stepping all over you.
You don't interrupt your breaks and come in and be like, "Dear doctor, you mispronounced another word right there in the break." Did she do that to you?
She's too busy going to the bathroom.
All of us
Anyway.
are during your breaks, but that's not the.
They're not long.
They're not long enough, exactly.
Yeah, well. Anyway, since we are about to go into a break, I wanted to give a big shout out to a brother that made his transition. He goes by the city councilman out of Flint. He goes by the name of Eric Mays. So I just want to give him a little shout out.
See, I want to make it to heaven. I try my best to tell the truth. People don't like my style, how I talk, my delivery, but you ain't catching me in half truth and lies. Not running no municipal government.
That's right. My boy Eric Mays just made his transition February the 24th. That dude is hilarious. I just had to give him his props.
Mean hat. I like the hat.
You did that yesterday? Oh, somebody else did that yesterday. Oh, they said. Okay.
What?
While you were not on the remix yesterday, someone else played the same clip and did the.
Say word.
Yeah.
Well, big up to the sisters that came on yesterday on Women's Wednesday. They represented. So
you didn't watch.
Yeah, don't watch the show, Ricky.
I watched the scene that Jackie didn't have a mic in front of her and made sure that she did, so the show went good. But yeah, I was working. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to a break right here on no other than the Remix Morning Show.
Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Malaika, nakupenda malaika.
What's good, everybody? Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I'll go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Please make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Also, go to patreon.com. Just drop some new footage over there, so go check it out. Also, you can drop some change right here in the chat room. Keep this train going. All right. So, big up to all the people that's tuning in. Once again, as I said, you got to hear a little bit. I just wanted to show you why I put a couple thumbnails up and give props to them. So what you just heard right there was an album done by Harry Belafonte and Makeba. That's right. So if you don't know anything about that, they did an album called The Evening with Belafonte and Makeba. Now this came out it's actually won a Grammy in 1965, and they released it. And the dope thing about it, I don't think Harry Belafonte gets the props he deserves, due to the fact that he learned different languages down to Swahili, down to Zulu. I mean, learning these different languages, and then they did 12 tracks, going back and forth. So I just wanted to give a shout out to that. I think Harry Belafonte needs more props. He was like, he wanted to bring out more African singers and stuff like that, and that is what he did. Also, let's give a shout out to another cover that we had, thumbnail that we had for the Remix Morning Show. Let's talk about no other than Big Mama Thornton. Now, Big Mama Thornton, she was a singer and songwriter, blues, R&B. You know, she came out and toured tore the stages down. I mean, her whole performance was crazy, and she did her big song. That's right. She did that song back in 1952, and it was big for her. Sold about 500,000 copies, and after that, other people like Elvis redid it and made millions. Although her songs sold millions of copies, she was denied royalties and publishing and copyrights for her creativity. Thornton died of a heart attack and liver disorders, penniless, in a boarding house in Los Angeles, California, and was buried in a grave. That's crazy, man. Big up to the creators of all this stuff we doing. Just had to give them a shout out. 2 of these musicians, well, 3 of them, and yeah, that's what it is right here on the Remix Morning Show. Now let's get back to it. You know how we do it.
Wait a minute. Did you say she was buried in a grave?
Yeah, crazy.
There was a word you omitted before grave, and I'm curious as to which word that was.
Wouldn't you like to know?
Like an unmarked grave or something like that?
Pauper? Was it
yes,
Pauper?
Cher Popper's grave.
Oh, okay. Otherwise,
I don't even know what that is. Like that's the
poor persons.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, that's basically what it means.
Look at you, Kim. You on it?
What do you mean she's on it? I'm the one helping you right now.
Yeah, no. She's seen that I omitted a word. Oh boy.
You also omitted. And I love Harry, but I'm just saying. I love Harry though. I love them.
Oh, the best researcher on BPM right here, boy. I tell you,
is it the marrying of the white person, or is it just ever having romantically been linked to any white person? Like, I'm curious.
No, it's more like the it's like it's always black heroes who, they and again, I think Harry Belafonte did tremendous work. It's obviously partly being humorous with it, but it's also the issues of someone who studies, loves African people, African culture, but yet, no.
You and Dr. Umar be on it, boy. Y'all don't play about them snow bunnies. Yeah, so with that said, F Elvis and all those other people that made all that money off of
shout out to Big Mama Thornton. First of all, I think Big Mama Thornton hails originally from Arkansas. Shout out to Arkansas. I also know Big Mama Thornton was the first person to ever put Little Richard on stage. Like, she was putting cast on, as she was moving. And I know she's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I'm curious as to whether or not she is still buried in a pauper's grave. Like, at minimum, the Rock Hall of Fame should repatriate her to a better resting place if it hasn't already been done.
From Montgomery, Alabama.
Oh, I thought she was from Arkansas. Are you sure?
I'm positive.
You remember the guy who started the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just got thrown out for his own racism. So I doubt he spent any money on black people. Intellectually speaking, he was like, we weren't worthy of interviews or whatever. You're on mute, Jared, or yours not coming through.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, something's going on with your mic.
Those problems again. Reset. All right. Well, I'll let y'all get back to some news.
Are you going to jump in and stop us? Jared, you want to give it a shot?
See.
Oh, he's got to be calibrated.
Reboot.
Okay. Reboot.
Start all over again.
Did you send me any stories, Kim, or you want me to jump off?
I want you to jump off, Kamau. You know what I'm saying? We was down for a second. Now we back with the jump off remixers. I'm saying what's up even before Ear Doctor shut me up. Good morning, y'all. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Kim, Kamau, Jared, Ear Doctor.
Jared is partially here. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
We can hear you. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know. Nothing visibly changes over here. So, but so I don't
probably
know.
that flag in the back.
Hey,
I don't know.
Could be.
But go ahead. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. Like, this is also a story given to us by Erica, and of course, this is happening all across But I think St. Petersburg, all across the country, I should say, but I think St. Petersburg, the story is being highlighted as this in another way where gentrification / ethnic cleansing is taking place across Black communities. And says, our real estate investors, I'm not sure why it's posed as a question as the way it is, but basically our real estate developers pushing out St. Petersburg's Black residents, and expert worry long-time residents are pushed out by rising prices. I mean, yes, experts, you are correct. So, but it said it's been more than 2 years since he left St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg native Keelan Lovett still aches for hot summer nights shooting the breeze with friends. Lovett, 36, wanted to settle in Campbell Park, the neighborhood where his family has lived for 3 generations. But after he returned from the Army, home prices skyrocketed. The house his grandmother saved every penny to buy in the 1970s was falling apart, racking up tens of thousands of dollars in fines for code violations. Staying no longer felt like an option. He eventually sold his grandparents' home to a real estate investor, which is the worst because real estate investors undercut the price of your home. I mean, obviously this is like this weird thing for a person who's who's selling a house. In terms of what contributes to gentrification, people are obviously trying to sell for the highest prices they can get, but real estate developers actually lowball and take advantage of people who have fines and code violations, and then they put a little money to fix the house up, and then they sell it at top dollar value to the next person, and that next person is usually someone who is like Harry Belafonte's wife or whatever. Let's put it like that. It says a Tampa Bay Times analysis has found that large companies have bought hundreds of properties in the South. These things get in my nerve. Hundreds of properties in the South. I bought hundreds of properties in the South St. Petersburg's community redevelopment area, 7.4 mile district where the city provides resources to encourage economic development. It says these companies buy homes everywhere in Tampa Bay, the Times found, but their purchases are especially clustered in the district's historically Black neighborhood. And so the story goes on to show where these home sales and home prices are skyrocketing. And again, this is kind of just a tool for the gentrification of particular communities. The cities usually decide to put in special tax codes and breaks for investors. And when they do that, then these investors know that they can target particular communities for purchases. And that begins the cycle of pushing people out, renaming communities, and then letting other folks come in at top prices. And again, in the neighborhood we work in Atlanta, which is called Pittsburgh, one of the last intact, semi-intact working class communities in Atlanta, like that mode has been happening. That happened in Brooklyn, and then it's happening all over the place where poor and working class people, particularly Black folks, are being pushed out.
I can't remember what it's called, but when I was a couple weeks ago, I happened to be riding in Southeast DC with Jackie, and we noticed, I forgot what it's called now, but there's somebody in the chat I'm sure will know, but the Anacostia section of Southeast is going through a renovation, and we drove, and as we crossed like this one block, it had like some, like wintergreen village, some kind of new whatever, and we were like, oh, that's, but all just signifying what you're talking about. We're letting folks know that this isn't Anacostia anymore. Will soon not be Anacostia anymore. It'll be safe for the gentrification. So yeah, and all I kept hearing is this is why we need to be focused more on policy than just this blind myopia around economics, that it's policy that's allowing this and setting it. I mean, all that's, as you said, opening the door for the exploitation and the accumulation of housing and whatever, and I forgot how you phrased it, but the increased cost associated when these folks start buying it all up. And then as we've seen recently also, if I remember correctly, commercial real estate is not going well. So venture capital and the elite are wanting to move more into residential because with all the virtual living and working, people aren't going to office spaces as much anymore. So those folks are saying, well, we got to make our money somewhere. Let's start buying up, residential.
Which I keep expecting to be the next shoe to drop in terms of another bubble economy thing. There's been so much talk for so long about the fact that a lot of these downtown areas, like New York is a huge example, like 50 to 60% vacancy. And these are huge properties. So my expectation is at some point they can't keep shielding this or covering this up. That a lot of these loans that these large corporations have based on these commercial properties are just going to be due, and are like, how are they going to cover that up and have it have a larger impact on the bigger economy?
Didn't we looked at a clip of that on this show? I think it was 60 Minutes, and it was some real estate developer mogul, whatever, in Manhattan, and the guy was like, the interviewer was asking him, well, you just lost like $250 million. He was like, well, I just gave it back to the bank. I ain't tripping. I'll buy another one next week. It's no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw the Young Black Economist comment here. The Andrew Young School of Public Policy is where the econ department is held. That sounds about right. The Andrew Young School of Public Policy is driving.
And I was going to also say that's I mean, I think again when Donald Trump was president, he said it a few times. It's like, you don't buy anything. I don't buy anything with my money.
Right.
I buy it with the bank's money.
No, this was part of the discussion last night. In fact, up there in Newark, that people, there's this ongoing belief in the myth that the elite deserve the reward because they've taken the risk, and they've and I was trying to remind them, John D. Rockefeller his mantra, first of all, was competition is a sin. He's not here to compete. He's here to dominate and get rid of competition, hence monopoly. And then to the point you're just making, like, what risk? It's not my money, and we have all this back end ways to recoup whatever we would have quote unquote lost anyway. So it's and then we got our other avenues to exploit, rip people off. So it's like you said, I'll just give it back to the bank, And worst comes to worst, somebody I know will bail me out.
Yeah.
Pretty much. In your lane, Jared, I saw a story on the news. I don't have it ready, but it was about these two young Black entrepreneurs who have come up with a course or something about financial literacy. And I remember the name of the thing is called Cheat Code. And there's going to be doing seminars for students at Howard University and, wait for it, Morgan State University, about how to best manage financial literacy and how to best accumulate wealth. And I'm watching this piece and I'm like, but Black women only make 60 cents of every dollar that a white man makes. So explain to me how I'm supposed to accumulate wealth when my income is only 60% for the same work, right? Like, in what way can anybody accumulate wealth when the wages that you're paying, even as a so-called white collar profession, all that bullshit, there's no way to overcome that gap when the wages, there's such a gap in the way anyway. So be looking for that cheat code seminar to be coming to your college campus.
Thank
Jared
you for
Hall.
the heads up. And then I'm seeing Ricky in the chat saying Umar will be at Morehouse. So this is the HBCU world, because Ricky also reported earlier that she and CBS will be at Princeton. So y'all go to Princeton and we get the Umars and the cheat codes down here at Morgan State. But in many ways, this is really how it works. Like the upside down backwards contradiction is that many of the best thinkers and speakers do go to the more elite institutions. They're more routinely invited there, I should say, than they are at HBCUs. I remember years ago there was this. I remember seeing a document. I don't know if what I was seeing was, I don't want to claim the veracity of it, but there was this statement from the then president of Howard University saying after a Farrakhan speech, no more nationalists on campus.
Oh,
Like that's it. No more of that. And so it's and even if that was my memory's bad or that's not exactly how it went, that is the ethic. I mean, that is the pattern. And you are more likely to see a progressive or radical thinker speaking at a PWI than you would be at an HBCU. So I just think, but yeah, that's some wild madness. And I'm waiting. Somebody show me where wealth was created in that way. I mean, where did in being financially literate, as they say. And then lastly on this, again, Erica's work, I'm telling you, she has shown me, much like the Selig Centers, the font of the buying power mythology, the white woman professor right down the street here in DC, who is the global leading, producing figure around financial literacy being a solution to all of your people's problems wherever you are in the world. You just need financial literacy courses and teach your poor how to set up a checking account. And
they have enough money, Jared. It's not whether or not they have enough money. Are they managing their pennies
well enough
in the most sensible way possible?
Why are they buying milk this week? Why? Why? You have to make choices to manage that budget.
Reuse those diapers. I mean, come on.
But that's literally this woman's methods. Like you see it in her work. It's well, how are you measuring financial literacy? Do they understand what a mutual fund is? Do they know what a CD is? Do they know? And it's like,
I know exactly what it is. It's a scam. That's what it is.
It's to your point. It's I go to work and I don't get paid enough to pay my bills. Like I don't need I mean,
what was the story a couple of weeks ago where it was like skip breakfast as a means of financial?
Yeah. That's it.
Why are you having breakfast?
Like that woman told me some years ago. She said you and your wife should quit your job so that you qualify for the deferments for the student loans you can't afford to pay with both of you being gainfully employed. So I mean, I said, so you're saying the loans we took out to be trained to do the work we're now qualified to do, you're saying we should not do so that we can qualify for the deferment to pay off the loans we can't afford to pay. I said to her on the phone, and I hope it's recorded, I said, this is why this country's going to collapse. I said, this is it right here. This is it. Let it be recorded for posterity that I told you, because you're funding people to do work that you're telling them not to do. So you're doomed.
And going back to the HBCUs, it's like this is part of their origin and their orientation, right? To assimilate Black people, right, into white ethos, white systems of what it means to be economically secure, which means to be a tradesperson, like labor for white corporations or businesses, knowing your place. And again, then they'll bring in these kind of experts to show you to do ABC. And for the most part, they'll bring in corporate experts to be like, oh, this is what you want to be like. Strive to be like this. Doesn't matter if you're ever going to make it. Strive to be like this. It doesn't matter if there's like a very small percentage of people who have that wealth, but you should still strive to be it. Don't challenge it. Don't think about it. It's a dog-eat-dog world. If you're not on top, someone else is, blah, blah, blah. All of those ethos are sort of built into the practices of a lot of these schools. And so that's why they don't want radical thinkers on campus who are going to sort of break a mold or make people think outside the box or whatever. For them, it's all about sustaining what they have. You're on mute, Jay. You put yourself on mute. Oh, well, no, but your microphone says mute.
Mm.
Oh.
All right.
Who put this up? Is this?
Pantomime.
I think we can't hear you, Jay. Although Ear Doctor, can you drop that story in the chat?
What story?
The RFK Killer Mike one.
Oh,
do you want to do your break first?
My bad. Can you hear me now?
There you go. You're back.
All right. I don't know what's going on, but I did want, because Ear Doctor had a good idea in the private chat program, producing the show, reminding us of what I saw yesterday from Killer Mike's favorite candidate, telling us how to solve the problem of Black inequality.
So I don't think you can change that part of human nature. What you can do is you can make kids resilient against it. And the way you do that is by giving them a great education so that they know that they have potential. And the other thing is to give them business models, role models, and opportunities within their own neighborhood. You know, Black men who are running barbershops, who are running bars, who are running dance studios, who are running local businesses, restaurants, etc., and who are part of that community. And you know, when I was a kid, my uncle was the first Irish Catholic president of our country, and when he ran for president, there was a tremendous resurgence in anti-Catholic sentiment in this country, and a resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan. I remember crosses being burned when I was a kid against an anti-Catholic president. A lot of other, I was called a Mick, a mackerel snatcher, all these anti-Catholic slurs when I was a kid. But it never bothered me. If somebody called me that, I would think that guy's got a problem. But I didn't think I have a problem.
Right.
And that because I had a great education. I had
Is that why Kennedy?
I had role models in my country. I had confidence in my own future.
Yeah, because you were rich.
Oh, those kind of things. Had no impact on me. And that's
Because
the
all of
kind
our uncles have been
resilience.
president, and
Now,
all of
we
our
wanna
fathers
give
have been attorney general.
Black American
All of our
children
grandfathers have been
so that they have so
bootleggers
much
who made
confidence
millions of dollars and
that
never went to
when they
jail.
do encounter
Who could turn their
incredible
criminal activity
racism,
into
that
hundreds
it
of
will
millions of
bounce
dollars.
off
Yeah.
them, that they'll be, you know, like the Avengers. They'll be
Yeah.
immune to it.
But
And
that
then
was
we don't have
that
to
was the
stop
line
racism
though
altogether.
that he said if you prepare people with a proper education, they'll be sort of inoculated against the racist criticism. So that's what he was saying. He was saying if you teach people Black people good business ethic, when they're confronted with racism, they'll be oh no, I'm good, I can overcome it. So that's what I was asking. You know, because I said I thought he was against vaccines, so now his solution is to inoculate Black youth with Black capitalism as a protective against racism. So I was asking if he's the best Kennedy yet. But yeah,
I appreciate him saying, you know, acknowledging that the whites are never going to set down racism. So basically, the best you Negroes can do is try to prepare your children against it, which, by the way, Black parents have been doing for generations, right? Except it's literally to save the lives of Black children, and I would assume their outcomes in life as well. But I mean, I'm so over, like, spare me this neoliberal bullshit. Like, you don't care, you don't know. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was best served as an environmental attorney. Like, please go represent the environment again. Can you get out of the barbershop and leave us alone? Because do you even talk about that? Do you even talk about environmental justice as it pertains to Black communities? That's your wheelhouse, correct? But miss me with I got called a Mick, I got called a macro eater. Sir, you went back home to Hyannis Point with your Black servants, you know what I'm saying, and enjoyed a very white life. So shut the fuck up about all the so-called discrimination you as an rich Irish person experienced.
It's like, as I was driving in my limousine, they were calling me, yelling names at me.
While they were calling my Black driver nigger, they were calling me Mick.
Right.
And I felt akin. We were on the same. I told my driver, we're the same, Charlie.
You get an education. I have an education. We are equals.
Yes, Robert.
And for my next policy, and then what we didn't see in the clip is that he said for my next policy to protect. My policy against police violence is we're going to give all Black people bulletproof vests and flak jackets. Because to Kim's point, the racism's not stopping. We're not going to stop shooting you, but we will give you
it's human nature.
Black
if I heard him
jackets.
correctly, right? It's
Yes.
human nature. You know, racism is not just
He
human.
gave a quasi little nationalist spiel a little bit like a black capitalist version of it, but a little bit of a little like, you know what? Y'all got to protect yourselves because we're not doing that for you.
We're not doing nothing.
You out on
So
your
get
own.
your little barbershop and
Get your education. So, do something. Leave us the fuck alone. But vote for me this November.
Vote for me. And then if you can make your way to Howard University, maybe you'll finish and avoid the problems of Sean Diddy Combs, who's accused of sexual harassment and assault by a producer on his latest album. And from what I'm hearing in these YouTube streets, the full, and I haven't read it up, but the full array of accusations has Diddy akin to the highest levels of the Weinsteins and the whoever else's. Apparently this has gotten bad. I haven't seen this video clip. We can watch this. But now, again, had he listened to Kennedy and finished at Howard and gotten his education, or maybe the people he was abusing, had they finished their education, and they would have been more fully inoculated from whatever he's been accused of doing. But,
Up with new allegations of sexual harassment and assault against Sean Diddy Combs. Rodney Lil Rod Jones, a producer on Combs' latest album, filed a lawsuit Monday. He alleges that Combs sexually harassed and assaulted him while he lived at several of Combs' homes.
Jones also alleges Combs forced him to engage in unwelcome acts with sex workers and that Combs and his staff engaged in, quote, serious illegal activity. He is seeking $30 million. An attorney for Combs said Jones, quote, reckless name dropping about events that are pure fiction and simply did not happen is nothing more than a transparent attempt to garner headlines.
So there's some interesting aspects about this lawsuit. So not only is Diddy named as a defendant, but so are the CEOs of Universal Music Group and Motown Records, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
And the record labels themselves are also named as defendants. Now, what this young man did, Little Rod, some weeks ago, he posted a video on Instagram outlining how Diddy was not paying him properly, equal to the amount of labor that he had put forth producing, I think, several songs on that Diddy Love album. And the man was actually Lil Rod was actually running a GoFundMe to try to raise money for attorneys, because he said in the video, as you can imagine, trying to sue somebody like Sean Diddy Combs is going to take a lot of money for lawyers. But he didn't make any mention of the sexual assault or abuse accusations at that time. He said, he was basically saying that Diddy was trying to take him for his publishing. Diddy didn't compensate him for the work that he provided, and he just wanted his money. So a lot of people are conflating that video with this lawsuit, saying, oh, he just wants money. Yeah, he does want money. He wants his money. He wants the money that he is owed and entitled as a producer and producing, works for this project. But I don't see a difference between him saying he wants his money and this sex abuse stuff, because I'm sure, as having the good fortune, I'm sure he thought, to be tapped by Diddy to work with him, he had to endure this kind of treatment, which I'm sure there is a long line of producers, artists who can probably attest to similar treatment such as this, because this is the price you pay for fame and for access. People like Diddy, who are in powerful positions, will exploit people's thirstiness to get on or to be famous or to have their work recognized, and they will be put through the gauntlet of fuckery and abuse. How much are you willing to put up and tolerate with? Because there's a lot of people that have tolerated with that kind of treatment and worse and haven't said anything, right? Haven't said a word. But this person, given the length of the lawsuit, I think it's 73 pages. Supposedly it comes with a bunch of supplementary media, because allegedly Diddy was allowing Little Rod to use his phone. So Little Rod, Diddy would often, according to this man, would often pick up Little Rod's phone and record videos of himself and take pictures of whatever the activities were at the moment. So this man says that he has a lot of supplementary evidence in the form of videos, pictures, etc. So, but Diddy's people are claiming, as as expected, that it's all false and that all his allegations can be easily disproven. But where there's smoke, there's fire. And this guy has a has a decades-long history and reputation. Even if all of it is not documented in court filings or police reports, the rumor mill has been out there about how Diddy treats people and how he exploits men and women, for his personal gain and, to help fuel their professional ambitions.
I mean, did we see him on camera make them kids walk to Brooklyn for some donuts or something?
Junior's Cheesecake, right? New Yorkers.
So that was on camera.
Yeah. This doesn't have a lot to do with the story, but I'm like, why is Diddy making an album?
But
But hold on, I make this point on my show, y'all. Like, I'm here for the Man Me Too stories. Like when Cat Williams was on Club Shay Shay, and Cat Williams said that Diddy had basically propositioned him via text message or in person, Shannon Sharp glossed right over that shit. Why? Because a lot of men are not prepared to have those conversations because of homophobia, right? Like the mandem think that just because they get hit on, somehow they gay. It's like, no. There are predatory men out here that are presenting one way, but actually doing other things behind closed doors. And those men, allegedly, like a Diddy, are allowed to continue that predatory behavior, especially on other men, because men are too afraid to come forward and say, this man hit on me, or this man touched me, or this man offered this, that, and the third to me if I let him do A, B, and C. Like, men don't want to talk about that, but we need the mandem to expose folks that are doing this shit. So, yeah.
One man did, the actor Columbus Short. He came out and said that Diddy was grooming him. And also Easy Mo B, producer, came out and said that he was going to talk about what was going on in the camp, and he got blackballed after that.
Yeah.
I saw Brandon Fraser said that Cat Williams was right and said he shared one of his stories that some white man put his hands on him. The actor Brandon Fraser. And was the which I thought, it was odd. That's how the video got my attention. Say Brendan Fraser said Cat Williams is right, and then he had a story for this white man producer, some big wig in Hollywood, put his hands on Fraser, and kind of messed his head up for a while. I think that was added to his struggles.
There's a long
Meek Mill getting brought into the fray because him and Diddy had matching outfits on. There's a whole lot going on.
There's a lot going on, and then the recirculation of a lot of videos, from Drink Champs, from this show, from that show. Brothers kind of tongue in cheek clowning each other, like, "Yeah, you was at one of Diddy's parties."
Yeah.
And the dude was like, "No, I wasn't at one of them parties."
and then when Diddy said to Fabby, he's like, "Hey, Daddy, when you gonna come to one of my parties? When we gonna hang out? When you gonna come to my parties?" And Fab was like, he hit him with the.
When we gonna party?
What is the Meek Mill story, real quick? I saw some headline. Is that related to this story? That's another story. Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
If we talking Diddy, it's all related. You know what I'm saying? But
Niles said Meek crashed out on Twitter yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Because they saying that him and Diddy was together now. So,
because there's a lot of people's names that are redacted, but it's inferred that Meek Mill allegedly, possibly, is one of those redacted names. So what was the other one, y'all? Was it Drake or was it somebody else?
Is Meek from Philly?
Yes.
Yeah, he was one of the. Yes, I saw in one of that Fantano dude his video. He talked about. He said we all know who the Philly redacted name is, but I didn't know. So I was like, I'm outside the loop. So I was like, but that must be. Okay.
But someone who was named was Cuba Gooding Jr. Why was Cuba Gooding Jr. in there? I don't know. I can't remember. But
who just said Diddy can't go to Ghana in the chat? Damn.
Too soon.
Man. Yeah. Yikes.
On that note, we're gonna take a real quick break and come right back here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into a little remix.
Home in my head, home in my head now. And wondering what dress to wear. I'm saying for you.
Once again, make sure y'all hit that like, subscribe button. Go to patreon.com, drop some change in the bucket because you know we love it. All right? So do that. Share because you know you care. And say a little prayer for us as a culture, man, because, oh my goodness, there's a lot going on. With that said, one more time.
Home in my hand, home in my hand now. And wondering what pressed you when I say a little rap for you. 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 I say a little rap for you.
Now let's get back to the Remix Morning Crew. Now we do. Big up Aretha Franklin. Say a little prayer. You know what I'm saying? And play it at your own risk. That's how we do it. Planet Patrol. Let me take you there. Let's get back to the crew. Now we do. Don't stop. Get it. Pop with it. Man, I missed that good old bass music down in Miami. Whew.
That was the jam. I love that. Yeah.
You know what I was thinking the other day? I was thinking Jermaine Dupri doesn't get the props he deserves. Jermaine Dupri brought us bass music back in the 90s. He brought us R&B. He brought us hip hop. He been dancing with Houdini since a kid. All the elements of hip hop and other music he's done as a producer. I think Jermaine Dupri should get more props than he does as a producer.
Have you done a little segment on Jermaine Dupri?
I think I should do that.
You should. It'll be a lengthy segment too. You know, Jermaine Dupri has definitely put his contribution out there. It was a shame though. Like he was dating Janet Jackson during. I was going to bring that up. Which is amazing.
Ow! No. And he's vegan.
I was too amazed, like, wow, okay. But he was not able to do, Janet, what he did for Mariah Carey, right? He was able to resurrect Mariah Carey. The Emancipation of Mimi is one of her best albums. Unfortunately, that Janet comeback album, not quite as stellar. And I'm sure Janet was feeling some kind of way. Like, goddamn, how was you was able to do that for Mariah, but not for me?
Because he wasn't sleeping with Mariah, probably.
All right. And everybody was amazed when he started dating Janet. That's all I remember. Everybody's like, "What? How'd you get it? What? Who?"
And why every time I go to Walmart to try to get some of this vegan ice cream, they ain't never got it. Big up for Jermaine. Jermaine Dupri got vegan ice cream.
Walmart?
Because that's the only place they sell it.
Jermaine Dupri's ice cream.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And iManifesto said Janet doesn't have Mariah's voice.
Well, that's true.
I mean, but never has. But that didn't stop Control and Rhythm Nation and the albums of Janet from being amazing projects. But
correct.
In fact, I think Janet has not gotten the credit that she deserves going on that. Like Janet was the pre-Beyonce. For a while. No,
yeah, she was the pop queen in the 80s for a second.
Had a long run.
Yeah, she was
up until that Super Bowl thing. I almost like she had a lot of hits.
It almost went like Janet, Mary J, then it went to Beyonce, then Rihanna. When it comes to pop,
I don't mean to sound like one of her hive, but I feel like from all of those women, Beyonce's in a different. I think she's on a different level or in a different lane. There's a. I don't know. I don't feel like that's the trajectory. Janet, Mary, Beyonce. I feel like Beyonce is. I don't know. More of a phenomenon.
I feel like Beyonce has made through I guess through publicists or whatever, Beyonce has made herself a legend, not based on her voice. Obviously, she's had good music, but she's made herself into an icon. Her and Jay-Z, right? Jay-Z is not just like a hip hop star. He's like this, so he can do any project. I think Beyonce, beyond her singing ability, I mean, she probably just her business ability or whatever, probably deserves a lot of credit because whereas these other artists at similar ages or lifespans in music have all fallen off, Beyonce, who's probably hitting 50 at this particular stage, right? Close.
No.
Whoa.
45.
No.
How is Beyonce? She got like
Remember,
45.
Jay-Z is roughly our age, but he married, she was way younger.
How old is she?
She's 40.
40, over 40.
I wouldn't
even as a pop
Is she
star.
40 even?
Yeah, she's
Really?
40.
She's
How old
40.
is she? Somebody look
40.
that
I
up real
just
quick.
told you. She's 40.
What, she looks 60?
Stop.
Somebody
Oh,
hating.
wow.
Knock
Somebody
it off.
hating, right?
60?
Knock it off.
God,
Cut it out.
Man, that's not
But
true.
either way, as a pop star in her 40s or early or not, she is somebody who can still put out music and be like that legendary. People are going to either buy it or look at it, or it's going to get a lot of attention. And a lot of people don't make it to that. So I think, and again, I think a lot of this is me. I don't know if her music has been so extraordinary. You know what I mean? In terms of like music. Or
It's pop. It's popular. And your methodology is wrong, Jarek, because you said you don't feel. Now, when we talk about feelings compared to statistics in the pop world, it's two different things.
Oh, damn.
That's all. Go ahead.
But
Kim.
I would agree with Jared that I do think Beyonce is a bigger star than Janet because, you know, Janet had the benefit of a lineage, right? She did have a little nepotism working in her favor. That's Michael Jackson's little sister. You know what I'm saying? And she, out of the other Jacksons not named Michael, was obviously the most talented, right? So she could sing well enough and she could totally dance and entertain. And her and Michael were equally matched, I think, in terms of their artistry. But Beyonce is something different. You know, Beyonce started from the bottom, now she here. You know what I mean?
Did you say they were equally matched, Janet and Michael?
In terms of, I think in terms of their singing and dancing abilities, I think that I mean, Michael didn't have the greatest,
Janet,
adult voice.
Michael, Janet, the rest of the Jacksons, look, you can't even see it on the screen.
Oh, damn.
Michael, Janet,
Rebe?
I agree. Come on, Rebe. You really thought Rebe?
Centipede!
I do love that song.
Wow. Shout out to
Every time it
both
comes
of
on,
you
I
for
turn it
remembering
way
that. That's amazing.
I turned it way up.
I tipped the cap to that when you
I
pulled
wasn't
that
gonna bring
one
up
out of
Latoya's album, so
You might as well bring up Jermaine.
serious.
But see,
Let's
that's
get
sort of
serious.
so when my buddy, who I would have never thought would do this, said that he let his daughter go to Beyonce's show, his point was, he said, how could I deny her Michael Jackson generational experience?
Yeah, I would agree.
That's and that's sort of that makes sense to me in that way. I wouldn't expect anyone to say that about Mary J or even Janet. To be perfectly honest, there's something. And again, I'm not equating talent or whatever
Is that marketing? Is that just good marketing or good publicist or good promotion or is something that made her be not just she's not just an entertainer. She, she's lifestyle or she's whatever, or she's legendary or whatever. Like, so she's at that place where she can do, again, at her age, do pop music and it's looked upon as an event, not as who's this old person putting out music. Like why is Diddy putting out music? Kind of things like, why are you doing that? Why is
Because
not?
I was the same thing. It was like, did he put out an album?
Yeah.
What?
Why is not? It's like that kind of thing. But when Beyonce puts one out, it's not that reaction at all. It's more like, oh, this is a happening or whatever. So
Well, Beyonce is grooming the next pop star, which is Chloe, and Chloe got a good voice, but it's just so much. Let me do all this in the video and strip all the way down. I'm like, you got a good voice. What's all this about? But maybe that's just me.
All right, Pop. I mean, calm down, man. We've seen everybody has taken their clothes off. Lil' Kim showed up on the red carpet in pasties.
And I still haven't recovered. Put all your clothes back on, everybody.
All this pearl clutching, gentlemen. I've been confused.
It's terrible. I know. Yeah.
Before.
I mean,
I'm guilty. I'm serious. I'm the one more layer crew. Everybody put on one more layer.
Jasmine Sullivan, I ain't seen none of that with her. She got one of the best voices ever. You can do it, ladies, without having to take all your clothes off.
Okay, but then tell that to these half-chested ass dudes out here, Or even
I
worse,
do.
at least these women, these young girls, yeah, they got bodies you want to see. Some of these young fellas, I'm like, nigga, put that bird back in the box. Who asked for that? Shut up on. I'm turning into
Back
Jared.
in the box.
That was good. I hope all the guys will stop talking about selling dope. I'm so tired that every time I hear a rhyme, it's about selling dope.
Who is still doing dope? These are the questions. Like
Who's
who is
selling
doing
dope? Like who's out on the corner selling dope?
But who's doing the tracks for the consumer? Like we're not the consumers never respected. Where are the bangers about? I was the main one copping on the corner,
right?
My
Like where's
favorite-
that track? That's what I need.
Where's the
I
old
was
Dirty
rolling
B?
up
ODB.
in my Toyota Tercel.
I'm telling you,
We
Jada
ain't had it
Kiss
since
said-
ODB and DMX.
Nah, we got some good dope records. I'm telling you that We Gonna Make It is a rap spiritual. And the best opening line of ever, fuck the frail shit. Because when my coke come in, we gotta use a scale that they weigh the whales with.
Some more coke rap, kid. Oh my god.
Kid,
Yo.
it's over. You know how big a whale is?
Let me give some shots out real quick. Infinite Content sending $5. Relate News. Philly Mayor Cheryl Parker is forcing all city employees back to office full time. More of Black misleadership class at work. All right. KJ Sukuma. $10. I got it right that time. Somebody stop RFK from speaking about Black people. Cuddly Mike ain't helping either.
Hey, somebody keep inviting him to speak, and that's where the misleadership comes in.
Is that the industry plant? ZZ Lion Dad, $5. No. Beyonce and Jay-Z have not created anything original. They was hot because of payola. They always hop on the hottest trend. Yeah, you bugging, Jake. You bugging.
I don't agree with the
They are
Jay-Z
trend
joint.
chasers, though. I don't disagree with that, ZZ Lion Dad.
You don't disagree? You agree? You don't?
I do not disagree with that. I do think that they chase a lot of trends. You know what I'm saying?
You don't
Like
think Jay back in the day was a legend back in the
No,
day?
he
Chasing no
wasn't.
trends with original
No, he
creators.
wasn't.
Kamau, how dare you? First of all, Jay-Z,
wasn't Biggie.
as incredible as a project as Reasonable Doubt was in 96, it wasn't even the best rap album in 96, son. It wasn't even the best one. Jay-Z benefited. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge.
What was the better album?
Well, I got to see the list, but I'm saying I know there was a better album because look who else was out at the time. I think All Eyes on Me came out in 96. I think
All Eyes on Me ain't better than Reasonable Doubt. I don't care what anybody
but I'm
says.
trying to tell you, at the time, nobody was like Reasonable Doubt is the best album of the year. That was not the discussion when that album came out,
I don't
because
agree.
There was other albums out. It was other
It
albums.
was other albums, but it ain't to say it wasn't a good album though.
Oh no, it was a great album,
Yeah.
but in a rap landscape where you have Tupac alive, Biggie Smalls alive,
go, Kim.
you have
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang, you have
So 1996. Here's some albums from 96.
Fugees, the score. Oh my
The
god.
score.
That took over everything right there.
Illadelph Half-Life from The
Come
Roots
on.
was dope. ATL.
Stakes is high.
Come on.
Stakes is High from De La Soul. Stakes is High it's to this day one of my favorite, if not my favorite single track. So
It was too much.
I rest my case, beloveds. I rest my case.
It was
I'm
a
trying
lot
to
of
tell
heat. It
y'all.
was a lot of
Score
heat.
was the best.
It was
Oh,
written,
it was
came
written?
out. Oh, come on.
I rest my case, beloved.
It was
I
written
would
is
say the
not
score
better
had
than
to be the
Reasonable
album
Doubt
of the
though.
year.
So it may
Whoa.
not have held up. For one, Reasonable Doubt is such a great
coming for
album that
Busta
it
Rhymes.
holds up. Like it holds
Mm-hmm.
up right now. Reasonable Doubt bangs right now. It was written, may
World
not
Order.
bang as hard. But again, look at the list. Y'all, I'm not lying. I don't
Yeah,
even
it was
judge me as though I'm lying as if I'm a
It
different
was a
man.
bunch of bangers. It was a bunch of bangers.
So
But-
I'm just
Blase
keeping it real.
Blah.
yeah, he had one song.
I know, it was dope though. It was dope though. It was dope though.
And then we can't forget about the Les Coos Beavers in the biz, the Lost Boys, Legal Drug Money. What?
Yo,
oh
I'm trying to
man,
tell
that
Hell
y'all,
on
and-
Earth from Mobb
again,
Deep.
It was too crowded of a field for Jay-Z to really stand out. Like, I mean, he was acknowledged as it was a great rapper, great album. First, debut was really good. But look at the list, dog. Look at the list. There was other niggas out with also incredible projects. So I want the correct, make sure that the kids remember properly. Jay-Z was not coming out here being heralded as the greatest when he first came out. It was the industry was too deep with other great artists.
I think Nas was held. I remember like Nas got a lot of. Everybody was like he's returning hip hop back to New York kind of shit.
Yeah.
Jay-Z didn't get that reaction. But Jay-Z was constantly like Blueprint. He was constantly like being
Put out
ranked
music
up there as like
And all the mixtape joints, like he did a lot. Again, to me, up until the Black Album, that to me is where we parted ways. But
didn't like the Black Album at all.
no, I love the Black Album. I mean, after the Black Albums, like that was like. But you bet all of these are good points. And Minister Server, I did not forget that he did that track with Dead Prez, to your point about chasing trends. And it was at a moment where he was claiming when he took over Def Jam that he was going to have a label. There was that brief discussion. He was going to have a label for the folks like Dead Prez and the Roots and all of that. And but
No.
you know, no.
I mean, I would say chasing trends and setting trends at the same time. Jay's done it all, man. He stays most consistent out of all these rappers that's been out.
He survived.
Yeah, he's been and again, he married up. To be honest, he married up.
I'm
And
still
that made
with her
him like
father
a
though. He's
royalty.
too old to be coming home with my daughter like that though. I guess he overcame it with the bank account or whatever. But
It's a whole nother conversation. Like once you get 50, what's too young?
Too young for what?
For a male.
I
a
think
black
30.
man.
What was it? He was like 33 or 34, and she was 19.
Yeah,
they
that
started
was too
dating
old.
like that.
That's
Oh,
too
yeah.
old.
That's way too old. And but again, who had anything to say about it? Nobody. Okay,
I did.
nobody.
I actually did. Nobody cares because it was like, who the fuck is Jared? And it was my 3 friends in a dorm room or whatever. But I was like, like Jay
There's
is
something
my
wrong.
age.
He's like, there's something wrong here.
I was like, Jay is my age. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I remember I was in shock because I remember when Jay-Z, he was lightweight flirting with her on the 1 Minute Man remix with Missy. And he references independent woman. Get your independent ass out of here. Question, right? And it's like, nigga, stop flirting with this girl, this young girl who is in her teens still. Here you are, big man.
So
He
Kim,
used
you
to
like
say 21 and older, let another nigga mold her. That was his.
Jay-Z's
Oh.
success is largely based on his peer dying. He is not even the best amongst his peers.
Oh,
which is true.
Who
That
said
is
it?
true.
Who said it? Look at
Y'all
that.
still
Well-
still capping for Biggie, huh?
Wait a minute though. Because I routinely go back and listen to the Brooklyn's Finest track,
Woo!
which is one of my favorite of. And you can't. It's not fair to say that Jay-Z's not holding his own lyrically.
He
Exactly.
is holding his own when he
I
was
mean-
Biggie though, and that's what I'm saying. Him having Biggie on the album for Brooklyn's Finest, him having Mary on, Can't Knock the Hustle. That was a lot of validation. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I think took him a lot further than he would have gotten had
Okay.
he had different features or not had either of those features on his album.
Like short sleeves, I bear arms. Woo.
Come on, he got so
Ooh.
many
Oh,
quotables.
dog, I can do that.
And
That's
it's
one
already-
of my joints. I can do that, Joe. I do all Jay's. I
Other
can't. I
than-
hate the fact that I like Jay-Z so much. I
Me
know a lot
too.
of his lyrics. And
Other
I
than
don't like his
marketing
type
and promotion, what is the difference between why Jay-Z is where he is and Nas is where he is, right? I mean, Nas was the celebrated rapper of Brooklyn, had all the street cred, all the critical acclaim, but at some point, his shit
I
fell
got
off.
the answer.
I got an answer too. What's your answer,
Jay-Z
Doctor?
always made some party hits.
That was my answer. I was going to say Jay-Z came out
Yeah.
with good singles. And
Yeah,
good
he
club
always
and
had good
club joints.
singles.
He
And,
said it was a strategy. Every summer, I'm gonna have something. Every summer,
Woo,
he said
did.
that. He was
He
very
did.
clear.
Mhm.
And people like that's what I always when we have our arguments about these I always have to remind people how much he dropped on these mixtapes. And if folks weren't listening to mixtapes back in the day, they missed a lot of incredible bars and tracks that never made it to albums and remixes. And even when he stole Joe Budden's track, I mean, he was slick with it. I mean, it's trend writing, but I think in a very like a high level way. Joe Budden comes out with that banging ass whatever they do.
Pump you up.
His only
And then
song.
Jay-Z was like, nah, I got it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna steal the track and put it out on a mixtape, and
killed it.
It killed it. So that kind of stuff, I think, But
that's
yeah.
part of reggae culture also. When they slide on the same beat, you know what I'm saying, and see who could do it the best. So,
and then he did all the little slick stuff like staying close with MOP and keeping like all the tech connections to the street and to Brooklyn. I mean, and then when he did that live show I was at, I mean, he understands the culture and he understands performance. So when that fight broke out and he drops "You Don't Know" to recapture the crowd, I mean, it's brilliant. He cut the song off that he was doing. He sees the fight. He's like, nah. They're like, what? And everybody was like, oh. I mean, that kind of stuff. I appreciate that kind of stuff. And then I found that on YouTube, I saw the other day, he was doing live shows with just B-sides concerts. He's doing a full live band concerts just with his B-side tracks. I mean,
And what did he say? He's like, I'm a businessman, Rockefeller, like all that stuff. He made himself, he continually made himself relevant.
Right. Big up to Just Blaze straight out of Jersey.
Ooh,
banging beats that we
yes.
keep talking about.
Ooh, God.
He said, I only make beats to play video games. I just want to play video games. I make beats so I can stay
Jay-Z
home and play
of Hawaiian Sophie fame. Ooh, every time I hear that joint from Pac, that joint.
Well, who else is like that today in the rap world? I mean, like who else is there the Kings or whatever in the rap world that could
Drake.
put out?
Drake.
Yeah,
Drake.
But is Drake? Is Drake like a Beyonce at this version? At this time in his life? I mean, he's still relatively young, right? He's not. How old?
What do
is
you
that?
mean,
Sells out arenas. He does sell out arenas.
I mean, like I feel like he's still like a rapper, relatively speaking, in their prime. It's like Beyonce again, forgive me, and Jay-Z can put out albums, and I'm not sure what the sales are, but they get looks. They get people are like doing premieres about them and talking about them. But I don't feel like Drake has entered a period where he's not considered like part of the culture of like today's rap, and he's extended past whenever he started to be like, I'm in somebody else's generation. I'm in the third generation of folks who are doing this, and I'm still relevant. Like I don't know no other artists.
From the 2000s to now, Drake is still that guy. I mean, point blank. A lot of people might not like because he sing, but shit, if we go back to hip hop, they all sang and rap. If we go back to Cold Crush, that's how they came out, singing and rapping. So do your history.
My daughters did play. They had on the house a week or so ago one of the tracks from Drake and J. Cole's new album, and I did perk up. I was like, "What's that?" I had them replay it. I forgot what it is, but I was like, "That sound kind of hot right there." I was like, "Wait a minute," but yeah. Okay.
But it's been 20 years of Drake, B. He's been out for 20 years.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
Look at you. Me Too come out. It's a whole generation of rap. I didn't miss everything Drake, everything Nicki Minaj. I missed all of it.
I missed all of it. I can't name you 4 Drake songs. I could probably name a couple.
I can't even name the one I heard yesterday or a week ago. I can't even tell you what it was.
Yeah, and I mean, then you got J. Cole, then you got you got Kendrick, but Kendrick ain't dropping like consistently like everybody else is.
Good for him, because that's why his projects are better, because he actually takes the time and makes it into a piece of art as opposed to a easily consumable and disposable piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like people just putting out singles for singles. This man is taking his time and making a project. I respect that.
Yeah, he definitely is on the art scene, especially with his last album dealing with mental health and talking through stuff. Like a lot of people, consumers don't want to hear that. But I mean, the fact that he went out there and did and was like, "Fuck what's selling, let me just do this." That's I definitely respect that.
Hey, I don't know what Moose is saying. Can somebody decode this for me? I don't know what.
I think that's saying the Cuba documentary will be coming soon. I think that's what that means. Yes, great.
Shout out to Dev. What's up, Dev?
Y'all better stop calling me the petty one around here. Let me tell you that.
All right, appreciate that. It's in the works. In case y'all didn't know, yes, Black Power Media executive produced a documentary on Cuba that will be coming out this year.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But seriously though, somebody tell me, Moose, if you don't mind, somebody send me an email or tell me I don't even know what this stuff. I don't even know what these emojis mean.
Two of the emojis.
I love that though. You know what I'm saying? It's the new hieroglyphics.
that
You
new-
know, no need for words. It's the picture.
You're right. You know
Give me the
what?
picture.
You're right. And if I don't know, I don't know. Don't tell me.
Yeah, exactly.
If I don't know, don't tell me.
You're no longer hip in this hop game.
You're right. I never was. I'm perennially behind. Everywhere I show up, I'm late.
That's my fear. Like when it's time for me to receive long-term care in my house in 40 or so years, the children are going to show up. Here come my home nurse aide. She's going to have a screen across her chest. It's just going to be emojis. And I'm supposed to understand what the fuck she's saying.
Your life
Latif.
depends on pushing the right button too.
Latif, you're wrong. Nigga bridges falling down. Motherfuckers is acting crazy. Onyx.
Oh wow.
Whoa.
Don't get me started.
Mm.
I know
Don't
my
challenge the sleep, Jay.
Onyx.
Don't challenge
It's
the
almost
sleep, Jay.
time to get live like a
like a
wire.
wire.
What? Oh my goodness, I love that album. That was
Speaking of which, I literally used that reference to big up the forthcoming visit of my favorite person outside my house. But wait, it gets
there
worse.
You go. There you go. Sticky
fingers. Because
Mhm.
it does, it gets worse.
Yes.
Did
yes.
y'all? I didn't even know Peter Tosh sang at that daggone peace conference and gave that speech about colonialism in Jamaica.
Mm.
Find the clip.
Well, you're gonna see
We'll
it
be
in the
talking
movie.
about it in a couple days.
All right. Well,
Eric
we got-
Sermon sang Luther. I don't remember that.
Huh?
James
Oh,
said
Eric Sermon, yeah,
Sermon
he's-
sang Luther.
Hey, every
It's every sermon. Okay. Okay. That counts as singing. All right.
Yeah.
Good people, what's coming up? It's the end of the remix week.
That's a difference, I think, between the rappers getting on and singing a couple of clownish lines, and then opposed to Drake coming out with a whole song while he is singing. Who asked for this?
Well, we don't talk about when we talk about Fonte and Little Brother. I mean, he's had a whole album with Foreign Exchange.
Singing.
Yes. He got a couple albums. Foreign Exchange, Fonte from Little Brother. Go check his work.
I'm familiar, but I mean,
some of the dopest singing albums.
but Drake is not a good singer, is the point. Like his voice is not consumable for singing.
It's pop singing. So therefore, just like Rihanna, just like Janet, it's not the best voice, but it's popular.
I listen to Drake when I'm at Target shopping.
All right, most
Silberg, yes. How to Read Donald Duck. That is, that's good. That's a great book, classic book.
All right, I guess we about to get
You
out
got-
of here.
you
You
got
got
a mix,
anything
right?
coming up this weekend?
You got a 2-minute mix? That's
Wait a
what
minute, we got-
EYL tomorrow.
There we go.
A lot of stuff coming up. I'm just gonna quickly look here. We got
Please
EYL tomorrow. We got my girl coming on to talk about Bob Marley tomorrow at 1:00 after EYL. We got Black Myths dropping their constructive critique of Black Power Media tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. We got Saturdays with Renee, where Two Black, I think, is going to come back to join us in the second hour of that show to talk about the previous night's joint. We got Is Blacker Than Blue dropping, Ricky? I don't see it on the channel yet, but Blacker Than Blue or Darker Than Blue, right? Sorry. The Voice and Jackie. So a lot of stuff. Make sure you got the bell rung and all those good things so you don't miss anything. Kim,
Warrior
what
Class
you got?
Sunday.
Warrior Class on Saturday. Sundays on Sunday.
All of that. So I wanted to share a little bit of comedy with the audience tomorrow, also 7 p.m. Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Tune in Fridays. But so Donald Trump, after winning the South Carolina primary, real quick, he addressed the Black Conservative Federation. And when I tell y'all the shit was comedy, the shit was absolute fucking comedy. So we're going to revisit some of the clips. Trump actually, he was so very comfortable in front of these room full of coons. It was something to behold. So we're going to get some giggles. We're going to roll up. We're going to check out
A room full of coons.
and Trump.
Down Kim Brown.
So yes, join us, hang out.
All right, there you go. Quick rerun. We will be back tomorrow live. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna do a quick pop-up. So let me go ahead and get that together. Come back in about 5 minutes and give you a little mix. So big up to all y'all tuning in on this. What is this? Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. That's what it is. So let me go get that together, and we'll be back with a live Remix Morning Show tomorrow, but back in about 5 minutes with a pop-up right here on, what is this? Black Liberation Media. There we go. Let's get it. We see y'all in a minute. Peace.